Or looking to completely level up your travel game? Well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to transform airplane boarding from a chaotic, stressful chore into a highly structured ritual of mastery. We're looking at the exact blueprint seasoned flyers use the second they step onto an aircraft. We've distilled the absolute best data and insights into this deck, so you can just sit back, focus on the information, and totally upgrade your next flight.
But hey, before we even get to your seat, I want to plant a little seed in your mind. What hidden takeoff ritual do flight attendants perform right before takeoff? I mean, almost no passengers ever notice it, but it actually serves a vital purpose. We're going to reveal exactly what that is and why they do it by the end of our journey today.
Okay, Section 1, claiming your physical space. So, let's dive right into this. Our physical journey starts before you even stow a bag. It begins with confirming your exact seat letter. Taking just one extra second to verify prevents those awkward aisle shuffles, especially since letters like I and O are often skipped on narrow-body planes so they aren't confused with the numbers 1 and 0. But once you find your row, ask yourself honestly, does the overhead bin above your seat actually belong to you? People feel very strongly about this. They just assume an assigned seat equals an assigned overhead bin.
Well, here's the stark reality. No, overhead bins are entirely first come, first served. If the bin above you is full when you board, which let's face it, happens constantly, the golden rule of the experienced flyer is to store your bag further ahead in the cabin, closer to the front. You must never store it behind your row, because if you put it behind you, you're effectively trapping yourself during deplaning. You'll literally have to swim upstream against a whole aisle of passengers just to grab your suitcase.
To prevent these massive cabin bottlenecks, there's a strict luggage logic you really should follow. Step 1, your rolling suitcase goes on its side, wheels facing inward, handle facing out. This lets you simply grab the handle and slide it right out when you land. Step 2 is just as critical. Your personal item, whether that's a backpack, a purse, or a laptop bag, goes strictly under the seat in front of you. Backpacks absolutely never go in the overhead bin. Those bins are reserved purely for the larger bags that physically cannot fit under the seats. Moving right along, Section 2, the ultimate seat test drive. Once your bags are perfectly stowed, the real pros don't just sit down and check out. They instantly transition to testing their environment. Think of it like kicking the tires on a rental car. You want to run through this rapid-fire checklist the exact moment your seatbelt clicks. Check that the entertainment screen turns on, test the audio jack, make sure the USB port and power outlets actually provide a charge, and confirm your seat reclines. Why do all this immediately? Well, because if you report a broken screen to a flight attendant before takeoff, they might actually be able to move you. And even if it's a full flight and they can't, reporting it right away often nets you airline points or flight credit for the inconvenience.
Now, what's really interesting here is the sheer scale of this number, 8x. Studies show that airplane tray tables carry 8 times more bacteria than a lavatory flush button. Just let that sink in for a second. Cleaning crews simply do not have the turnaround time to scrub every single tray table between flights, making them a primary vector for some pretty nasty viruses. But the defense against this is super simple, and it relies on a little-known TSA loophole. Sanitizing wipes do not count as a liquid. You can confidently bring a travel pack of wet wipes straight through airport security without giving up any of your precious liquid allowance. Use them immediately on your tray table, armrest, seatbelt buckle, and for sure, that touchscreen you just tested.
All right, Section 3, mastering in-flight comfort. Let's move on to our next pillar of boarding mastery, the comfort phase. You might think an economy seat is just this rigid, unforgiving plastic shell, but there are actually secret mechanics built right into it. For your headrest, don't just lean back. Fold the side wings inward. They're designed to cradle your neck, and honestly, they're often way better than those bulky neck pillows. What about that tiny, flimsy airline pillow? Don't put it behind your head. Tuck it right behind your lower back for instant lumbar support. Now, if you're in the aisle, reach under the armrest near the back hinge. There's a hidden button there that allows the aisle armrest to lift completely up and out of your way, instantly expanding your space. And finally, if your row shares a power outlet, which is super common since a row of 3 often only has 2 outlets, plug in immediately to secure your spot and then politely unplug once you're fully charged. As you're settling in, there's a brilliant psychological trick to tackle jet lag. The second you sit down, completely abandon your current time zone. Change your watch and your phone to your destination's time zone before the plane even pushes back from the gate. Sleep researchers note that this immediate clock change acts as the first real signal to your brain that a totally new schedule has begun. It helps you accurately decide if you should force yourself to sleep or stay awake based entirely on where you're going.
Section 4, securing your high-value items.
We are now transitioning to what is honestly the most critical and definitely the most botched move in the entire boarding process: securing your high-value items. So the absolute crucial point here is this: never put your passport in the seat back pocket. You probably boarded with it right in your hand, and the temptation to quickly slip it into that pocket is incredibly high. Don't do it. That pocket is exactly how passports get left behind, and in-flight theft is a rising global issue. Worse still, if you step off the plane without it, security protocols often dictate you are legally not allowed to reboard the aircraft to go look for it. To combat this, experienced flyers actually adapt their wardrobe. One anecdote from our source material highlighted the total genius of anti-theft clothing, like a Scotty vest or a dedicated travel jacket. They noted it's really about beating the airline carry-on rules by essentially wearing another bag's worth of things. Having hidden, sewn-in pockets for your passport, wallet, and phone keeps your essentials strictly organized, completely out of sight, and entirely off your mind.
Next up, Section 5, the Hidden Safety Checklist. Now that your physical space and your valuables are totally locked down, the pros move automatically into a hidden safety ritual. And look, this isn't out of paranoia, it's pure preparation. There are 4 rapid steps here. First, manually count the rows between your seat and the nearest exit. This is actually a pilot's trick. If the cabin fills with smoke or goes dark, you can physically feel your way, row by row, to the door. Second, glance at the safety card. Aircraft are constantly being upgraded, so the layouts change. Third, reach down and physically touch the life vest under your seat. Believe it or not, passengers sometimes steal these as illegal souvenirs, and a plane legally cannot take off if one is missing. If yours is gone, you gotta tell the crew immediately. Finally, unplug your headphones during the safety demo. It's polite, and it's a crucial mental refresher.
And finally, Section 6, the secret takeoff ritual. We have finally reached the climax of our boarding blueprint. The cabin doors are closed, the engine pitch changes, and the plane is preparing for the runway. Before you totally lose yourself in a movie, look straight up. Check your air vent status. Is it open or is it closed? There's no right or wrong answer here, but making a conscious choice right now ensures you won't spend the next 4 hours quietly freezing to death or sweating profusely without understanding why. And now we return to that little mystery from the very beginning. As you secure your vent, look at the flight attendants taking their jump seats. You're going to see them assume a very specific position, and this brilliantly illustrates what we call the braced stance. Their backs are perfectly straight, their feet are flat on the floor, and their hands are intentionally tucked under their thighs or resting palms down. It looks a little stiff, sure, but the mechanics are genius. Sitting on their hands locks them into a stable position and prevents their arms from wildly flailing if the aircraft has to execute a sudden, aborted stop on the runway. It is pure, intentional safety mechanics, hidden right in plain sight.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a quick question. Next time you board, which of these hidden rituals will completely change the way you fly? Will you find the hidden aisle button, count your rows to the exit, or simply remember to wipe down that tray table? Armed with this blueprint, you're no longer just a passenger. You are the master of your environment. Thank you so much for joining me. Keep learning and safe travel.